This is officially Steelheart's Rusted Soul Season 6, Episode 5. Ask not why the bell tolls for 13. And I'm your host, your storyteller, your number one fan, Nobody. Greetings and salutations. How we doing, Sensei?
I am reading through a book. Well, skimming. I'm looking at funny things in the book.
Oh. Is it a good book?
Yeah. In particular, it is God, but the only things we know about are obliterated and shattered.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. How we doing?
Good, but I don't know why my heart's beating so fast. It's kind of weird.
Don't worry. Role-playing has that effect. Take 2 dice rolls and see how you feel in the morning.
If you look in Anaya's chat, I know I forgot to post it, but I finally spent those XP. So,
Nope, doesn't count. Too late. They expired. They expired January 1st, 2022.
Yes, you told me to use them. I will not accept this.
What up, Jay? How we doing, boss?
What's up?
Yeah, you tell me, man. How is Friday for you all? I could promise you that no, I am not completely as poor as I seem sitting here sweating buckets, but the house is just humid. Every time we open the door to walk the pooches, it is just a humid hell. I'm not sure if you all realize this or not, but we are actually all here. We are all dialed in. We are comfortably present. So any questions? What questions? What hypotheses? What corners do we want to hang out on before we dive right in?
Anyone know where we are?
Alright, so a little recap is clearly necessary. We will start with that and we will hit the ground running. Besides recap, are there any other questions? No suggestions, no hypotheses, no conspiracy theories?
Okay, I know we mentioned the ghost thing happened. We all ended up, I think, going back into the house.
You did?
The ghost, we left the ghost alone in the kitchen because it was like, if you leave it alone, it'll go away. I remember that part. And we were kind of going over what we had learned about the cars and wait, am I thinking the wrong way? Because there's too many characters. Was it in character in this universe or this part of the universe that we found that they were hiding souls in the car?
Effectively, yes. Yes, a copy of the information and getting their lives and existences moved from one thing to the next. Yes.
And then there was a party happening, and we decided not to go? Or we were still deciding whether we were going to go?
Correct. You had not made a definitive do it.
Yes or no?
There was a leaning towards it, but you all hadn't decided to actually go. In fact, when we...
Because we were stuck in the middle of the depression. Got it.
Yes. When we left, the weight of the last few weeks came tumbling down around Haley. From losing one of their herd due to their own addictions and own demons they were wrestling with on a consistent and constant basis, to the reality that one of her favorite was seeking to push their claim on her presence, on her heart, to the fact that certain places, certain people attract those demons of their own minds, souls, and hearts, as well as those of the world around them. There's an understanding that victims of certain traumas tend to become abusers of those traumas. There's also the understanding that in running away from those traumas, some people give wholeheartedly over to their worst versions of themselves. They disconnect, nothing carrying any significant weight to keep them from ever having to experience those traumas again. And Haley realizes in that just too much of too much, that the bulk of her associations, the bulk of her herd, the bulk of those things, those people, those presences that she's allowed near her are these sorts. They fill the full spectrum of those who have dealt with trauma, either self-caused or caused by the world. Those who go from crusading angels to nothing matters, letting go of everything. It's only the moment that matters. Hiding by flying high above all of their problems, or running as fast as they can into a bottle, into a line, into a leaf road. And that reality is sitting there because at the end of the day, while all of those things are very important and need to be worked out, that's a lot of fucking work. Digging in the dirt, rebuilding yourself from the skeletal parts that remain, that's a lot of fucking work. And then you apply that to 4 or 5 people in a similar situation, not everyone pulling in the same direction. That's a lot of fucking work. And overarching over all of that, there is an outside force seeking to lay claim to the entirety of this fallen dead city. It refuses to completely die, but in everything but actual name, everything except for actually waving that white flag, Gary has been dead for years. It has long since stopped being the Magic City. And has long since stopped being the fastest growing city in the Midwest. In fact, there are entire generations that know it only as the place where hope won't even die, where hope even takes flight. And on top of that outside force seeking to lay claim, Benji realizes or has found out or has discovered or has seen in that ineffable otherness that sticks and clings to every facet of the world around you, that the Shadow King has set up his castle here in Gary. Who that Shadow King is well, anyone's guess. Some can put a face to the name, some can put a face to the ideal, but either way, it still comes down to the same. A choice needs to be made, otherwise you simply go with whom or whatever comes out on top. And there's no fun trading a devil you know for a devil. You need to get the foundations down. You need to learn their behaviors, learn what sets them off, learn what pleases them, so that you can go on with the rest of your night, the rest of your life, the rest of your existence. And for the first time in several years, Anaya was confronted with not being able to smile through the pain, not being able to giggle past the trauma, not able to escape the hole that the city has dug for every soul, living and otherwise. And while it was such a small taste, a small inability to escape, it was significant. Something must be done, but what that done is entirely on your shoulders. People are choosing sides. You three, free from the bulk just yet. You three knowledgeable individuals aware as to how far the pain trickles down, have several decisions ahead of you. You can run as fast as you can, but it seems as if you have reached the end of your rope. The end of the beginning. And with that in mind, I'd like to offer my heartfelt thanks for getting to know these characters and all of the others that you all voice and live in during our play. I can't say it often enough. Thank you. And without too much more doing until we don't, until we beat the dead horse until it resurrects itself and dies again, I'd like to say that this, without a shadow of a doubt, is Steel Hearts, Rusted Souls, Season 6. And tonight's episode is Ask Not Why the Bell Tolls for 13. We pick up moments later, moments after the conversation in full bloom has reached its natural digression point. We pick up after all of these realizations bombarding around the insides of their skulls, all of these visions dancing in their heads, all of these thoughts circulating in the ether around them, and several decisions, or at least one decision to be made. The bleeding of the ghost in the kitchen has crawled to a silence. The energy that is expended clearly having taken its toll. And it's interesting to consider that even the dead need to occasionally take a breather.
Silence is kind of loud now that it stopped. Think it's gone?
Bender's just gonna, like, while laying on the floor, kind of angle his head to see if he can see into the kitchen.
Where you guys are where you guys are sitting? Yes he can. And the slight flickering of the lights, which haven't stopped for these last few moments, is still going on. It's still trying to get you all to come close enough to reach into the kitchen to turn off the light, so that it might perhaps find a way to escape the hellhole that it is in. Imagine spending eternity in a kitchen such as this, in a house such as this. And while it's breathing heavy, it's still there.
This is more of a daze or weeks thing, not minutes or hours. My suggestion would be to board up that room and don't let people go into it for a while. I mean, or you could just let them go in there. They'll die, because, you know, no offense, your friends are really goddamn stupid.
Hey, man,
I mean, he was feeding it.
Hey, man, that's kind of rude. Where's everybody else at? He says as he walks through the door and leans down and gives Haley a kiss on the forehead. Hey, man, you got that Potemkin? I think I hope you didn't smoke it all. I'd love a little bit more.
Is that the guy that died in the car?
Yes.
Is he,
Come on, man, don't hold out. Come on, give me a little hit. Got my second wind. This'll be great. Whew. Probably just something I ate, man. Don't worry about it. It's cool.
Can you guys see him too?
No, they can't.
See who? I mean, you said the guy was still in the damn kitchen, but who are you talking about now? Because it seems like you're talking about somebody else now.
I don't know your name. What's your name?
My name is shit, man. I guess I'm higher than I thought. Fuck. Gary! Yeah! Wait, no. Gary. No, that's the city. And no, Mr. Gary's my father! Right, no.
Your lover boy that was in the car is standing in front of you and just kissed you on the forehead.
Dude, she knows. She doesn't like touching. It's our little joke. Haha, you know? She's colder than normal. Hey, Haley, are you alright, man? Like, you may have a fever coming on or something. What makes the skin clammy?
Haley will attempt to see what he's talking about, see if he's crazy or not.
Insanity is in fact contagious. What does Haley have auspics?
Yep.
Excellent. Would you be so kind as to roll your wits plus auspics? It's always interesting how much the visible light spectrum shifts and moves. Haley's ability to tap into that spectrum at most given notices usually is not something that she does. So the muscles, while a little bit out of practice, are in fact still there. As she leans into that, as she taps into a little bit of the beast, as she utilizes every facet that she can, she feels the coolness along the edge of her skin. She feels and smells the Kenneth Cole reaction that they wore to cover up their oftentimes days between showers. She can smell that slightly malodorous presence of weed and sweat and various other chemical agents taken in on such a consistent basis as to stick to the pores. And she knows that he's here. She can almost hear him walking across the floor in his two-step slide that he often does, because he'd forget to pick up his feet, and so his shoes would drag across the wooden floor into the carpet, and he'd always stumble and catch himself and make two big steps and go back to once more sliding his feet as he walked. And while she can't hear whatever it is that he's saying, she gets the tenor of his voice. She can hear a muffled, "Hey, man, what are you talking about? I know I fell asleep, but it should be perfectly okay. I mean, what's the worst? Like, And as he mumbles and mealy mouths and does his usual song and dance, she can't hear the exact words that he's saying, but the sound of his voice in her ears almost makes her forget that his body, well, he is nothing but moldering meat at the moment.
For ghosts to happen that quickly, is it?
For ghosts to have a what?
For ghosts to manifest as quickly?
No, usually not.
Shit.
In fact, it usually varies anywhere from a month to a week, sometimes not even for the first year. If there's something they feel they haven't done, or if they've been assigned, or they find the strength to break across the veil, all rare instances, but possible. Hours later, now you're talking about something else entirely, because it takes strength to tear through to this side of the veil. Takes power that most newly bodiless dead can't amass.
Hey, buddy.
What's up, man? Hey, you gonna fire it up or not?
What was the last thing you remember before walking in here?
Oh man, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to Ralph on your shoes like that. Let me go get a towel and clean it up for you. Hang on, I'll be right back.
So, looking at the look on your face there, I'm guessing you can kind of see him, right?
What the bloody fuck is going on?
Your dead friends, manifested much faster than he should have.
I don't know anything about that.
It usually takes a long time. That's only been minutes, hours since he died. Someone's fucking with your shit. Someone's fucking with the shit.
This is why I've told them to leave that ash alone.
This ain't the ash, man. This is something else. Someone's pulling some weird juju.
Meanwhile, Anaya's been watching the two of them kind of like a tennis match back and forth, looking entirely confused because she can't see the spirit.
So what the fuck was his name?
What the fuck was his name?
That's a great question. You know, his family's name was Gary. You remember that much because they changed their name because they believed so strongly in resurrecting Gary, making it the Magic City once more, bringing it into the modern era. His last name, his family name, is Gary.
That was Gary from Gary.
Yeah, fair enough. That's what he said.
I'm not sure that was his real name, but that's what we called him.
Well, he's back. Not of his own accord, probably. I doubt he's that powerful enough on his own to manifest actively.
Maybe it's got something to do with the bloody kitchen.
Like I said, I think someone's either targeting you or targeting the area. I think, maybe. I don't know.
That didn't do nothing to anyone.
Maybe it's got something to do with the lupines. Because, I mean, how often do you see more than one lupine? Well, actually, they do travel in packs. I was told. But
I try not to see those.
I don't know nothing about lupins.
Well, that's not entirely true. There's a huge party where several kindred have said that as long as you stay at the periphery, you stay at the edge of their territory, where they go and watch the lupine that hangs out on the shoreline just south of the airport, supposedly. So whether it's true or not, you kind of sort of know that there's at least one purported lupine in Gary. Not that you've ever actually seen them. You've seen a couple of homeless people over there in that area, and strangely enough, wild pigs moving back and forth through that space. You've never seen a lupine, though you know there's supposedly one in Gary.
But I didn't do nothing to no lupines either.
There's a question. Do you want to try and help him pass on? If he can?
And I don't want him to sit here and suffer.
plus, it's a really weird question. I don't know that you know the answer to this or not. But what happens if he goes in the kitchen as Ghost and meets the vampire Ghost?
What happens if... What does Benji think would happen if that happens?
That's a good question. What would a natural predator do with something that wasn't prepared to be a predator?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying a spirit that has been already exposed to people feeding it energy. People feeding of their life to it. What would you think it would do if you stepped into a tiger's cage?
He'll probably try and eat him. That's kind of what happens to spirits who aren't powerful in the in the not skin realm.
This is all way over my head. How do we fix it?
Well, I guess number one is keep him away from the kitchen. He went into the kitchen to get paper towels, didn't he?
And that's when you hear it. Holy shit, man! Why can't I pick up the damn towels? From the bathroom. I know I've got butterfingers, but this is fucking ridiculous.
It's like hunting cats, these people.
I can get it up and then it just falls. The fuck, man? My fingers are broke.
He's complained that he can't pick up the paper towels.
I mean, I suppose I would too.
So, I kind of only have the ability to see and talk with them. I don't really have the ability to, like, force them to do anything. So,
I mean, like, have you ever seen that show, like, what's her name? That big blonde hair and long, even medium or something like that. She talks to them all the time, and, like, you're supposed to ask stuff and help and stuff. At least that's what I know.
I mean, he seems, really out of it, which, I think is his normal anyway. So I'm not really sure what his, what would be keeping him here.
I don't know either, but that is his natural state.
I mean, you okay with your house being haunted by a ghost stoner?
If I say no, will it just stop?
Probably not. I mean, he might eventually weaken and something will happen. Or he might just stay.
If he's fed energy or has a fetter, he can be here until he is no longer allowed to be here, until the world falls down around his ears. He'll be trying to pursue whatever his actual reason for living was, what connected him here, what held him here in this world. And if you can find his fetter, well, you know.
Really a stupid question. Is the Potemkin his feather?
Yes, it is symbolic of his fetter. It is symbolic of the reason why he is still here. The allure and promise of what it offered. Strength, peace, feeling like $1 billion. You felt the Potemkin's effects. And unlike all of your other DOCs, it's one of the few that you can take directly. It's more than just set dressing. You don't have to sink Fang into anyone.
I've got a theory on how we might be able to deal with him. Don't go into that bathroom. And he just kind of slowly stands up and just walks into the bathroom and closes the door behind him. And just... So you're having trouble picking up the paper towels, man?
Yeah, look! And he literally puts his hands around a towel, holding it from a stream and forcing it into almost a ball-like shape. And he gets it to 3, almost 4 inches up off of the countertop next to the sink, and then it falls back down.
Don't worry about that here. Sit next to me. And
I got cleaned up your shoes, man.
It's fine. They're always dirty. And you'll actually pull out the Potemkin.
Oh, dude, you didn't smoke it all.
Yeah, man, there's still some of it.
Come on, man, light it up. I'm ready to go. Round 2, man. Let's do this.
Yep, and he lights it up. And offers him the first hit.
It takes considerable amounts of strength to manifest. It takes even more to affect the world of the living. There's no way that a freshly dead specter, there's no way that a freshly dead spirit, there's no way that a freshly dead wraith would be able to physically hold anything. They shouldn't have that much power. Yet as you offer him the Potemkin, something that slipped your attention, he was able to move a towel. He was able to lift a towel. And while 2 inches is nothing to write home about in most cases, neither is 3 or almost 4, he was able to manifest and move something in the physical world. And as you offer him the Potemkin, the ash-laden blunt, rolled to be the size of an actual full-fledged cigar and smoked and shared between you both, he latches on greedily and inhales.
Hey man, pass it back, man.
And when he offers it back to you, you realize that much like his moldering corpse elsewhere, his stomach almost completely deflates. His bones and skin sinking shallowly against themselves. The meat of his face seeming a little more hollow, the circles around his eyes growing darker, and the light, the darkly glittering light from across the veil begins shining out. His eyes seemed warm when you two were in the car. That warmth, that animating presence seems less, considerably less, and enough that you can notice the difference. And there's a claw-like seeming to his hands, the knuckles seeming larger than they should be, the fingertips and fingernails seeming as if they could cut through flesh. Spirits don't do physical damage typically, but then again, you are flying by the seat of something else's pants in the here and now. The rules as established that hundreds of souls that you've dealt with over the years seems to be willingly and purposefully violated in the now, as if some great works was underway, as if someone was doing something they shouldn't have, with the forces all around you. Yeah, you know what? Let me take another hit, man. Let me get a real hit. Like, I passed out last time, but I'm not gonna pass out this time. You're the one that's gonna be going down. And he takes it. Oh yeah, that's. Yeah. While out in the living room, there's a ghost in the kitchen. There's a ghost in the bathroom. Your former herd is in the bathroom with the party guy that you met just the other night. The hood and roof of your car, mostly put back in a drivable condition, is still damaged. The inside of it stained with the residue of the living and smelling of God knows what. Even with the window gone, even with the windshield completely missing, the stench of death is not something that's easily overlooked nor forgotten. And here you are in one of the fanciest crack houses you've ever seen. So Haley, Anaya,
I don't know if it's really a good idea we be leaving them two alone together, because look what happened last time they were alone together. I know he said don't go in there, but at the same time, doesn't sound like a good idea to me.
I mean, it's not like he can make him more dead.
I mean, there. And shoot, but every time he smokes that shit, he be acting fucking crazy. Do we really want to deal with that amount of crazy in this little ass space?
And I don't know how to get him out.
This whole thing has been ridiculous. This whole past couple days has been ridiculous. I'm sorry, girl. I know you lost a lot to me. I have no place feeling any type of way, but fucking new times and shit. Wow. I mean, there's that party happening. I mean, I know you probably don't feel like going to a party, but maybe it'll get us out of the house. You can forget about this shit for a while. Come back on later.
She gestures towards the kitchen and goes, I don't know that I can just kind of forget about this.
Well, you know more about being what we are than I do, probably, because you were like this before I was. So it's like, I know like a lot of times TV like lies about shit, but I didn't know we existed until we existed. So it's like holy water really a thing, or like crosses and shit. Because like if we could get some crosses and holy water, maybe we can get rid of the thing in the kitchen. I know he said to leave it the fuck alone, but at the same time, we need to see that.
I don't know, but it's probably a bad idea to call in an expert. I can't just let you move.
I mean, you got like a Bible or something? Maybe you can try reading that. I mean, it's been a while for me. Like, my parents did that whole church thing, but it's never my bag.
I mean, I don't personally have a Bible. It doesn't mean that there isn't one around here somewhere.
We're just sitting here, as good a thing as any. If you had to say where you would think, well, actually no, because I've met your people. They wouldn't put shit in regular places. I wonder if there's one in the bathroom.
I bet there's a Bible on the interwebs.
Oh, true. I could go there, yeah. And so she takes her phone out and looks up, like a Bible app.
Serendipity, the cousin to Kismet, and the sister to Fate, reaches her hand through space and time, and being as omniscient and omnipresent as all of those ideals, when you open up your phone and you bring up a Bible app, thanks to everywhere your phone has been, all of the geolocation tags that it's sent out trying to connect with the internet, trying to connect with whatever strongest signal has been near enough at hand. The moment you try to open the phone and bring up a Bible app, there is the First Baptist Church of Dalton, Illinois last sermon just a few days ago. And it was a going home sermon. And while you normally keep your ringer off, the volume is another matter entirely. Because, well, you use your camera, you use your video more often. And it's just a hassle having to always turn the volume up, or remembering to turn the volume up so that your videos and your blogs and your posts. And so the sermon begins wafting from the speaker. And we were blessed to have Sister Judith as long as we did. She only lived a short while with us. The Bible states that we are given 70. That's 70 years that we have been promised. And Sister Judith has been robbed of her full portion. But instead of mourning Sister Judith, we will celebrate her life, because she has touched each and every one of us. She has brought forth into this world and been fruitful. She and her seed have multiplied, changing and the screen shakes and static runs through the video as if you're losing signal. And there's a face you haven't seen before. Not as the camera panned over the congregation, not as the camera zoomed in on the pastor, not as the camera circled around the choir, letting you know that they recorded via a drone inside the church. There's a face very, very close to the camera. Gone is the low background music from the church's band. And while you know it is an impossibility with them being so very close to the camera, it looks as if they're trying to see through your screen. It's like this thing on? Their face swaddled in bandages. A lot of it with splatters from beneath, showing where it's sticking to the skin, healing underneath. And the blood and fluids are sticking to the bandages. The hood pulled high and tight over their head. This obfuscates whether they have long hair, short hair. It's hard to see which. But even as many steps as they are taking to occlude themselves from clear visual identification later, you can see their hands looks as if they placed them into, well, a grill and cooked their hands as they fiddle with the camera, and they pull it closer to their face, starting with their eye, and they pull it back, and they're frowning. Okay, so I'm not supposed to be doing this, but just so that you all, I know you're out there, just know, they know. Consider this like probably the last time I'm ever going to be on camera. I got to take off, but they know. The tower knows. The tower knows. I can't say it again, but I'm going to say it again for y'all so you got to understand. The tower knows. And then it goes back to the program. Sister Judas. While we are lesson 4, the Lord has called one of his angels home. She is in the bosom of the Lord himself. She's with her dearly departed husband, killed far too soon. Now, I could go on and bore you with all the wonderful things that Sister Judith has done.
Anaya's gonna hit pause real quick and look at him. He's like, huh?
Wait, what was that? Back it up.
She tries to take the video in reverse back to seeing the guy on the screen, or the person on the screen.
The tower knows. It's probably the last time you're gonna see me, but they know.
He was wrong.
What do they know?
It's a recording.
I've never seen this person before in my life, man. I've never even been to that place, or have I been to that place? I don't know, but at the same time, that was creepy as hell.
I just want to know what they know.
I mean, the tower is full of those old people, right? That's what they said.
I mean, they're not all old.
And speaking of old, or more specifically, the lack of age, sitting this close, the question is, does he actually imbibe? Does he actually take down all of that smoke into his dead lungs and feel alive once more? Does he take that chance?
Yeah. No question.
It shouldn't feel this good. You've sampled nearly the width and breadth of all marketable drugs in one shape, fashion, or form. From the designer cocktails mixed with over-the-counter medicines for ADHD and focus, and you even tried using, mixing it with Viagra because that's a vasodilator and it gets the blood flowing, and you have done every illegal drug in one shape, fashion, or form. You've partaken of several others, but you have your favorites, especially the nice designer variety that gets into your herd, your feeding preferences, your prey's bloodstream, and stays there for 4 to 6 hours. You can take little sips or trade favors for little sips, and they never realize because the high begins to fade. So they don't realize that the high is fading because you're taking their blood into you. You're robbing them of that high and making it your own. Well, yeah, you got to go back to the well several times, typically. But you know that because of your state and because of how you need to imbibe, the first time is always the best, and every other time after that just gets less and less and less and less, and you have to sip more and more and more of it to get close to that first time. It's the reason why you like the designer drugs, because there's a new one almost every week, so you get that first time far more often. But this hits like a mule. This hits like the first time the world opens around you. This hits clean and pure, and your high is immediately back on you. The troubles and thoughts, the perceptions of depressing ideals fade into nothing. Would you be so kind as to roll your resolve and aspects, please?
Alright. That. And DC?
As high as you can.
Alright, I'll do something else.
Are you on your phone?
No, I'm on my computer because it's been working lately.
Huh.
Fuck, I'm just gonna roll into the server because it always looks there. One success.
Okay. Well. You're looking out at the great inland sea known as Lake Michigan. You know it's Lake Michigan because there's just a scent that it has. You've been along the shoreline often enough that you know how close to the actual coastline you are based on how much of that specific scent is in the air. You can gauge within a mile or two how close you are, within a few feet if you can see it, but you know how approximately where you are in the city by the way that scent hits your nose. So you know where you are. You can hear the partying behind you. The night sky is that hazy bit of past midnight, pre-dawn that it always gets. It's when the parties wind down, they get intimate. The 4 or 5 break down to 2s and 3s, and conversations are had about lives lived. This is the part of the evening where those who literally cannot go all day find a way to make their excuses. This is the part of the evening when the truths shared earlier are countered with lies of the moment. Because it is better to be viewed as a liar than a weakling, unable to handle your fix, unable to handle the cards that life has dealt you. So it's easier being viewed as a scumbag than someone realize how vulnerable you had been with them. And this is the part of the evening where typically someone's getting punched or stabbed or kicked in the head or a bottle thrown at them. This is the part of the evening when all of the shared communal aspects devolve into children hiding from the monsters under their bed. This is the part. And then nothing. The absence of everything. The sound, the scent, the feel of the breeze on your skin. Just Nothing. You find yourself sitting across from a gentleman in a tuxedo shirt, open from the collar down to the solar plexus. There's a tight blue vest open as well. Sitting in his lap is a violin, his blonde, brownish, dirty hair streaking past his ears. Hanging on his shoulder, staring into your heart, is a platinum blonde, her hair in pixie tails, her makeup immaculate, and they stare into you. What are you doing here? And the moment that she says, leaning forward, what are you doing here? You hear that echoed. And unlike every other echo you've ever heard, it doesn't grow lighter in volume. It magnifies, growing in each echo. What are you doing here? 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 Oh, it's my turn? Oh, I'm sorry. What are you doing here?
Is Benji able to respawn?
He is.
Is Benji Benji?
He's not sure. Has Benji ever been Benji? And if Benji's never been Benji, then who has he actually been? Whose life did he steal? Or waste, as the case may be. But if he's wasting someone's life, what is someone else doing with his? Because if he's not Benji and he's taking Benji's life, then that means that someone else, Benji, probably is taking his life. That bastard Benji.
Look, man, I'm just getting stoned with a ghost.
A ghost. No, that's impossible. That's impossible. And the dirty blonde male takes the violin, looking at it, holding it by its neck, the strings popping under the stress of his grip. And he leans in as the violin moves too far to your left, his right hand going back until it disappears into the darkness around you three. And he swings it forward as fast and as hard as he can. And the ghost is shaking you. You can feel its hand on you. Hey, dude, come on, man. Give it back. Just share, man. Puff, pass. I'll puff, and you puff. It's clearly too much for you, man.
Here, have it.
The moment that you say, here, have it, he takes it greedily and inhales deeply enough that his ectoplasmic form fills with it. Instead of the first couple of puffs that he took, causing himself to look more and more like his actual corpse, when he inhales this time, he begins to swell. There's something malevolent growing in him, some presence, some state of being that denies reason. That's not supposed to happen. He shouldn't be able to hold the Potemkin, let alone get anything from it. Yet he is.
Pass it back, man.
I'm not done yet. And he takes another puff, another lung-filling puff that should not be possible. Yet, here before your very eyes, it is.
Good time, man. Here on out, the only thing you have is time.
It doesn't work like that, dude. I still gotta go and milk my old man for money. How do you think everybody else is getting high? You think they can put more than $10 together?
You're the one holding this entire place together.
Yeah,
They treat you like shit.
Well, I may not be holding everything together, man, but I hold enough. They don't realize what's gonna happen. Like the condos that have been bought up by those Jamaicans, the Haitians, the Dominicans, or wherever they are. All those houses, man. My family's gonna... I'm talking too much. And up in smoke is a phrase and aphorism that's used that it's throwing good after bad. It disappears like smoke in the wind. Whatever it is that goes up in smoke. And it's usually something of immense value. And as you all stare at the phone in the video, and it's paused on the bandaged, clearly woman's face, the hoodied, mostly occluded and shadowed personage. There's a responsibility that every kindred has to not reveal yourselves in any provable way to the mortals around you. And while she doesn't come right out and say that she's kindred, and while she doesn't do anything extraordinarily vampiric, she did just drop on a recorded video of a church less than coded phrases. She used tower.
I don't know what it is, but I bet it's not good.
I mean, I know there are rules, and weren't we not supposed to do shit like this? I mean, granted, I have, a blog and shit, but I don't do weird stuff on the blog. I try to be as human as possible, so I don't know. Like, this is weird. But at the same time, I think our original idea of using this for the thing in the kitchen, we can fast forward it to the part where he's getting rid of whatever spirit Judy person. But still, I don't know.
Right,
Power knows.
we could maybe use the sermonizing to scare out what's in the kitchen. But I want to know what the tower knows.
Bet. So I'm going to bookmark this video and we can come back to the tower knows shit. But then I'm gonna go so she gets closer to the kitchen but does not go in the kitchen. And aims the video at the kitchen and tries to look for the timestamp like they usually have on the little YouTube videos of the part where they get to the praying or whatever, and hit play.
Here's the question. Does Anaya have any heightened senses? Does she have aspects, or does she have anything that would add to her ability to view, sense, feel things across the spectrums?
Nope, she's entirely a tank.
Does
That
Haley
one dot Nicole.
does Haley go with her?
Probably. I picture them huddled up like the Scooby-Doo girls hiding behind the phone.
There are certain scents that immediately get the hackles raised. There are certain feelings that are put out by scents that are almost impossible to avoid. When non-vegetarians or non-vegans smell meat cooking on a grill, especially an open one, it causes the salivary glands to kick into high gear. When you can smell that flesh broiling, it causes salivation, causes pre-imaginary hunger in a lot of people, or it heightens the hunger that's already there. When you smell mercaptan, the hairs on the back of your neck start standing on end, even though gas is a sedative and it puts you to sleep. When kindred smells something burning, it causes a small tremor of fight or flight. When smelling ash, which is powdered, pulverized remnants of kindred, alchemically treated through sorcerous hematics to create something potent enough that even fully dead kindred can be affected. When you smell that, besides thinking of your own final mortality, there is the hint, the whisper of that beast at the back of your mind, poking and prodding for its fair share of the power that is there, the life that is in it. And while those not gifted with heightened senses would have to be in the immediate vicinity, for you, moving past the bathroom door is being sucker punched by your beast demanding its fair share of that power, because that's what it is.
She will stop for a moment, close her eyes, and absorb that for a second, then bite her lip hard, shake her head, follow Anaya.
And Sister Judith was, and as the pastor is sermonizing and eulogizing and somehow working in when Jesus called Lazarus to him into the sermon, into the eulogy, the lights dimly flickering in the kitchen go completely out. The presence you all felt in the kitchen grows cold enough that frost begins climbing the window over the sink. The presence in the kitchen gets cold enough that a bit of creeping frost starts working its way across the floor. Let me go! Gone is the beseeching to get your attention, to get you closer. That's a full-fledged demand as it rails against the preacher, who you know at this point is daubing his brow again, his skin slick with the exertions of his sermon and his eulogy. His stalking across the stage behind the pulpit in strides, and his body jiggling as he throws himself into what he's saying. And you hear, "Go on, preach, Pastor!" And you hear several amens and clappings from the video. Staring into the kitchen, it is impossible to deny the presence. You all could have gone the rest of your immortality without having to face anything of that ilk, because it is growing and puffing itself up like you've seen several hundred drunkards throughout your time and in various parties. It's the self-talk that's being done out loud when two people who have no business fighting are working themselves up to physically accost themselves. It's the manifestation of, oh yeah, motherfucker, oh yeah, I got something for you, come on! And that's what the presence is doing. It is self-talking itself into a rage. Whatever it is preparing in defense of itself, well, only time shall tell. And it's 33 after the hour. Let's take a quick 10 and be back here at 43. Welcome back, everybody. How we doing?
That's swiftly you're suddenly talking.
Yeah.
It's in the silence for the last, 5-10 minutes.
Is everyone back?
Yeah, I'm back. I'm just fighting with
Taxes?
PDF right now because I'm trying to keep the PDF open where I got my new ability from. For some reason, if I have anything else up on the screen, it won't open the PDF, or it won't be the PDF open. I can scroll over the tab, it'll show it to me, and if I click on it, it disappears.
I don't have a clue. I'm sorry. Okay. Haley, you back?
Yep.
Excellent. Then let's get this flogging. Let's have a good fair trial and then get to the hanging. The fix is not in, despite what everyone else tells you. I promise. I promise.
Your Honor, I plead guilty.
Well, you can't plead guilty till we hang you. I mean, you can't, duly noted.
Yeah.
So brave of you to say so, because only an innocent man would claim to be guilty. And you know what? I hate innocent men. I like them dirty. Meh. When we stepped away, several things were made a little clear. Several things were in the offing. The specter in the kitchen is growing in strength, and the specter in the bathroom is doing much the same, though far more subtle than one would expect. Unlike the ravenous newborn kindred freshly dead, this bodiless specter seems to be comporting themselves with all due stealth. And drinking down and being empowered by direct inhalation and the absorption of the smoke in the restroom. For those of you who are not familiar with the art of hotboxing, you typically block off underneath the door, you run some water and get it nice and steamy so that the smoke from whatever you're smoking is magnified and concentrated, filters the air, and you're absorbing it through your pores, and you're taking all of that lovely, noxious poison into yourself. Even without putting the towel under the door, even without running the shower or the sink to get the room nice and smoky and nice and humid. The noxious stench from the Potemkin, noxious stench from all of the ash that it is loaded with, would have under any and every other circumstance filled the space. Under every previous circumstance, it would billow like the smoke announcing the Pope's death, acrid and cloying and clearly visible from miles around. But in this moment, the smoke, the stench, the odorous residue of several kindreds' existences is being pulled into the corpse, bodiless though it is, in front of you. So Benji, realizing that you can be seen by beings who can see things that aren't there, and watching as the specter slowly shifts and changes before your very eyes, growing stronger instead of weaker as the Potemkin gets less and less. What are you doing?
Is Benji familiar with what the fuck is happening to this guy? Or what he is becoming?
What's Benji's occult?
Let's see. Just a cult on its own. Would the rape specialty apply?
Yes.
Then that would be 2 dots.
Specters, wraiths, undead of all variety that have no body and no tie to the world, when their tie or ties are weakened or snipped, or in this case smoked into non-existence, grow weaker. This is the antithesis of that, as if it's an impossible idea, but is he actually consuming the thing that tied him here, growing stronger because of the extraordinarily rare instance of his creation? He is here as he is because something else out there is happening that allowed, that drew him, that forced him back into this moment. Seconds, minutes, hours after his passing. It doesn't happen that way, and yet it did.
So, Gary.
Yeah, man. Well, yeah. Hey, you want to hit? How about I just shotgun you?
Sure, but it's just good, isn't it?
It's the best. It's like I can see my other lives, man.
You wanna help me get some more of this stuff at some point?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, we'll work together. Like,
You mean that?
yeah. Dynamic duo and all that.
Yeah. Together. Close as kin. And he leans in as he speaks to you. There's no way now. It is inconceivable that a bodiless dead has the wherewithal of presence, that when they lean in, you can feel the weight of them, the air moving around them, much like when a body dead, like a kindred or a human, leans in. You can feel that weight against you, even in the coolness of the kindred's dead flesh. There is someone or something is invading your space. You should not, and you have never felt that when a spirit has done so. Yet here, in this moment, you can feel him leaning in. The light shifts and moves as his head comes closer to yours. Did he get taller? Can you get a little wider? Nah, it's gotta be just a trick of the light. So, together. Man, two of us together. I know it's weird, man, but I think we should probably like seal that deal. You know what I mean? I mean, you and me getting more of this. It'd be great, man. It'd be absolutely perfect. Shake on it, dude. Come on, pal. Put her there. Would you be so kind as to go ahead and the moment that your hand touches his, would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your resolve and unspent willpower? Or, if you have, your resolve plus blood sorcery. If you have blood sorcery.
What would be the DC?
Oh, it's contested.
Well, sadly, I can't succeed at a cost, huh? Alright. 4 successes.
Oh, you tied. Look at that. Would you... The moment your hand touches his, they shouldn't have any weight, shouldn't have any heft, there shouldn't be anything there, but there in fact is. Would you be so kind as to remove 1 point of willpower as you feel the actual crushing weight of death? You know what it is like to feel everything that you are come leaking out of your mouth and other orifices. You know what it's like to die relatively alone in the presence of someone who does not care. You realize that's exactly how you die to become as you are. They said they did. The warlock who brought you into this, they said they did. They promised you immortality. Not that you had a choice. You realize that now. There was no option for you except for yes. At the time it didn't seem that way. But as you, in this moment, feel that death crawling over you, slipping into you, you realize that's exactly what you've experienced twice now. Though having everything you are come pouring out of your mouth and out of your ears and out of your other orifices is not a feeling that you enjoy. It's not a feeling that anyone should have suffered under. But you realize, well, death ain't fair. Neither is life. Speaking of death not being fair, as it wells itself up for the push, for the wild haymaker thrown off balance towards knocking that phone, knocking you all, and the power that you're pouring into the kitchen aside, what, if anything, are Anaya and Haley doing?
Anaya hearing, I guess, would she have heard it say, "Let me go"?
Yep.
Hearing it say, "Let me go," she is going to push a bit of power into her voice and use that experience that she has as a influencer, trying to influence people to buy things.
Hey guys!
To push him out and say, then go, and put power behind it. With Melanie.
No, that didn't work. Does not work against the spirits. You need. But go ahead, roll it for me. Let me bring that. I thought I had grabbed that note.
It's the same dice pool as either like Daunt or All or whatever.
Yes. Roll that lovely bean footage. Would you be so kind? Just go ahead and roll your charisma and intimidation. And while that roll is in the offing, Haley, would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your resolve plus presence for me, please? Haley's afraid of many things. At least she has been over the course of her life and her death. There are many things out there in the night that cause a need for retreat. Responsibility, accountability, forced attention, all of those things, weighty though they are reasons to escape a situation. While bothered, while weighed down, she has not felt afraid until right now. She has not felt the need to escape, to leave, to go until right now. She's not a violent person. She's not a violent kindred. Well, yes, she's a undead monster of the night, but she does her best to never leave behind anything, to never be what she is. All of that horrible, horrid potential, untapped, escaped from. And yet, in this moment, it is clear that the specter has reached across some invisible boundary and begun flooding into Anaya. Anaya seems as if she is very much a source of pain, a source of responsibility, as if she is the very embodiment of something that would burn Haley upon the merest touch. Her voice crawling over Haley's skin as if it was 100 million angry fire ants. And the spirit lashes out. Anaya, would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your strength and brawl? You need a DC of 3.
gonna say I don't have brawl, but it's funny that my strength is 4 already. So
Make it happen. You got this. You're a strong one, huh? You're a strong one. She's just so strong.
Only one way I learn how to fight. Is to fight ghosts.
Who taught you that maneuver? It hasn't been seen in several hundred years. Now see, you wouldn't believe this, but hanging onto the phone is surprisingly difficult. But Anaya manages to. The blast of frigid cold air buffeting them both from the kitchen. And while that is happening, Haley, in this moment, what is Haley going to do? You're engaging in incidental warfare with a power infernal, with something that no longer has a body, with something, well, no one would believe this is anything more than a fevered dream from too much chemical inebriation.
She's gonna back up and get her phone out, look up Latin prayers.
Two scoops of prayer, 2 scoops of energy, 2 scoops of attenuated attention focused towards clearing the space from the bodiless, from dead. Easy enough to find. There are several prayers, several benedictions, several translated and retranslated prayers. What sort of prayer is she looking for? Is she looking for the power of a sermon and the power of someone speaking in things into being? Or is she just going to grab the first one that she finds?
Probably just the first one she finds. She doesn't know what she's doing.
Well, now.
She's just like, this works in horror movies.
In nomine Patri et Filii et Spiritus Sancti, credo in duum Patrum omnipotum creatorum, and it goes on, and she's saying this. Is she attempting to add anything else to what she finds?
Nope.
Okay. So as the sermon is going, and Haley is speaking a very garbled Latinized prayer, and Anaya is hanging on for dear life to not crush the phone but keep it from being buffeted away, and the spirit is swelling with anger. Is that wild flurry of blows thrown with no real practice, no real training, but could very well put someone to sleep. And is that something throwing everything they have to keep whatever is happening from happening, and all but failing. And while the spirit in the kitchen is failing to make a dent and stop the incidental banishment that Anaya and Haley are doing in the bathroom, touching his hand, you feel death. You shouldn't be able to touch his hand, yet there you are. He shouldn't be able to touch your hand, yet there it is. And he's not letting go. Do you attempt to pull free? Do you attempt anything else?
Fuck, man, I need another hit of that.
Oh, yeah, dude. A shotgun. And you're sure that he has not put it back to his lips, but he manages to blow the smoke from the Potemkin into your face. Would you make the same roll once more, sir?
The same one as last time, or the one before last time?
Nope, this is last time. As he is attempting to make himself at home and make sure this partnership is, well, you know, very much in line.
I'll spend a willpower on that. 3 successes. Oh wait, it'll be 1 less. Shit.
3 successes?
I forgot that the willpower went down, so it would actually probably still be 2 successes.
No, 3 successes. Fine, we'll keep it. Don't worry about it. You're fine. All right. The feeling of death and not being yourself magnifies. The Potemkin makes it feel as if you could leap a tall building in a single bound. It makes it feel as if bullets would bounce off your chest, and yet internally, underneath all of that, you that's sitting at the center of your being feels as if the walls are closing in, as if there's this bright red cancerous something crawling up the walls of your mind palace, as if Gary is seeping into you. Please remove 2 points of willpower.
And what if I only have 1 left?
Oh, that means you actually take aggravated willpower.
So 1 ag damage.
Yes.
Alright.
You should never be this close to anybody. You should never be this close to anything. Your passions in life and death should never possess you. And that is what you are feeling. You realize the room is getting dimmer and Gary is growing in size and strength. Save. He has more size and strength and should be able to fit into this space around you, which means that it is pouring into you, that he is seeping into you. He is binding you and he into one singular being, which spirits can do, but it's not something a freshly departed should understand how to do. Yes, time over there moves differently, but it's never moved this quickly.
Benji can be heard from the back room just screaming incomprehensibly.
Okay,
And he
what the fuck is
attempting
going on in
to pull
there?
away.
Yeah, everything was bloody fine until that guy came over.
Okay, well, you're far enough away. Keep reading that. Hold my phone. I'll go check and see what the fuck's going on in there. But you gotta really mean it that you want it to leave, because that's the only way this shit works. And then she goes for the bathroom.
Does Haley do exactly that, or does Haley give up the ghost and say fuck it and leave? There's face everything and rise, or fuck everything and run that's sitting there before her. In the presence of someone else, in the presence of another kindred, in the presence of her home, yes, there is a certain amount of bravery there. Every dog barks in its own yard. But now she has to carry that weight. She has to stand up underneath the pressure that spirit is attempting to wage on her. What does she do? Does she buckle? Does she bend? Does she break? Or does she accept the possibility of any and all of those things without moving?
She wants to run away, but this is her home, so she gotta stay the course.
Bravery is not Haley's thing. Running is what she has practice with. Escaping. But in the first act of her new existence, because there is a before and an after, and this is definitively one of those moments that forms the basis of a line. It forms the bulwark upon which you can build and bolster. It is a definitive decision that is irrevocably prescient. As she continues spewing and spouting the Latin, as the pastor, in regards to Sister Judith, it can be heard in accordance with her. The force of cold is continuing to grow, as if it is, in fact, burning itself out. Faith and adherence, the bravery to stand in the path of that thing, being showing almost immediate effect. You are master here. This is your domain. This is your haven. You are not as you are anywhere else in the world. And at the same time, the rushing to the bathroom door, here's the question. And the only important question in regards to where Anaya and Benji are. When Benji went into the restroom, did he lock the door?
Yeah.
So you rush to the bathroom door, you turn the knob, and nothing happens because the knob does not in fact turn. And inside you can hear Benji. Give us a yell, Benji. For dear life.
Wow.
For dear bloody life. He is screaming as if he is being consumed by all of the many horrible animal movies from the late 70s and early 80s, whether it was Gnaw, the Food of the Gods, or Ben, or Piranha, or Jaws, or Cujo, or any of the other animals. It feels and sounds as if they found him and are doing their absolute best to consume him piece by piece. And the door's locked.
Fucking idiot. And she steps back, plants her foot, goes forward, and puts her foot against the fucking door.
It's the second time that you've barged into this bathroom tonight. And each time it seems to be getting worse and worse. You know the third time's going to be the charm. You're going to walk in and see Beelzebub himself and some other entity in flagrante scarring you on a cellular level. But it's very, very close in this moment, because as the door swings open, you have never had the opportunity of seeing a specter, a wraith, a bodiless dead, but standing there over Benji, who's sitting on the bathroom, the commode. As he's sitting on the toilet, the lid down, he's shaking hands with a thing. That's the only way to describe it. You know that corpse is not in the bathroom with Benji. You know that corpse is moldering in trash. You know that is not there, yet you see it. And instead of the 5'11" bit of nothing that corpse was, it is towering over him like Thin Man. It is leaning into him, and where he is holding Benji's hands, there's a growing slime and sludge as it's pouring itself through Benji's skin into him. And then the smoke hits your nose. The small wisp and bits of ash. And there's nothing really to concern yourself about. This happens all the time to Benji, that much is clear. Look at him. He'll be fine. And look at how great you were. You rushed here to save him. There are other people out there in the world that are more important. You have already lost so much because of him. Hell, right now, though, as where you feel yourself at, you're sure you can put your G-Wagon on your back and take it to the mechanics. You don't have to drive that damaged, life savings wasting vehicle. You can lift it up and carry it. There's nothing that can stop you.
In front of her, oddly confused as to where this other thoughts are coming from. The only thing she can think of to do is try to tackle the thing. She's already kicked the door open. She's already in full, not rage mode, but full do something about it mode. So she's going to try to tackle the thing that she sees over Benji.
All right. Be so kind as to go ahead and roll your strength plus brawl. Sports were never really her thing in terms of doing them. Watching them, collecting memorabilia, that's another matter entirely. You remember all of the IBA Gary Splash jerseys your dad had. You remember the steelheads, banners, and plaques that he had and collected. You still have them in boxes somewhere at your apartment, and that started your love of basketball. So you have the Pacers, and you, as much as you didn't want to, you collected the Bulls because, you know, there was the whole dream team thing going on when you were younger. So you have all of that. You have memorabilia. You have moments where you were the life of the party, of a watch party here and there for various games. But the doing is another matter entirely. The hands on getting yourself dirty and sweaty with no real way to take a decent picture was another matter entirely. And as you and Benji go tumbling into the bathroom, tearing himself free from what held him in place, there is some measure of thanks you have to all of those moments of almost getting dirty and sweaty with various sports leagues. There was that lovely, nice volleyball league. You didn't mind them too much. All those tall girls and referees and the spirit of camaraderie. You can see why people could fall in love with sports, but it still really wasn't for you. It still really wasn't as invigorating as you thought it might be. All of that work, all of that time, and the game was decided by one serve or another. One little small thing. You didn't like losing.
As they kind of tumble, she pops up. Did I get it?
Did she get it?
Missed by a mile. Hit you. Tumbled over the sink, through the bathroom toiletries, spread across it and into the tub, pulling the shower curtain down on top of you both.
Am I still connected to Mr. Ghost?
No, but it's closing on you. Dude, I thought we were gonna be partners. Dude, come on, man. Come on, help me up. Let me help you up. Come on, buddy. Come on. Here, take my hand. Let me help you up.
He's going to scramble to his feet and try and... Is there a window in this place? Or is it just door?
Yeah, it's just a door.
He's going to scramble towards the door.
Then would you roll your dexterity and athletics? And as Benji is evidencing, well, being the victim of something, that thing that's standing before you and is closing and is offering help and aid and assistance, what is it that Anaya is doing? You've never seen a zombie in real life. You've never seen a corpse like this. Well, you have. It's downstairs in several garbage bags where you took it apart piece by piece. And yet here it is, coming towards you, offering assistance. Come on, man, let me help you up. Relax, calm down. I thought we were partners. And it's gonna be fine. Here, take another hit.
Where is she exactly? Did she fall into the tub?
Yes, you both are.
Should I give Benji a boost up and out of the tub, knowing she can kind of get herself out? And then as soon as she gets on her feet, she's gonna shout at the thing, "No means no!" and try to get out of the bathroom.
Alright, that being the case, both of you guys roll your dexterity and athletics. See if you can dip, duck, dodge, and escape. Remember, if you can dodge a hammer, you can dodge a ball.
If you can dodge a hammer, you can dodge a fireball. Anyway, Benji rolled a 1. Like 1 success.
Alright.
And I can't willpower that anymore.
Alright.
Suck at this.
That didn't go well, it looks like.
It did not. You all scramble to your feet, kicking free of the shower curtain. The rod goes clanging across the floor, rolling through it, Gary's ankles, which should be an impossibility if it's able to manifest physically, yet it doesn't do anything except for cause him to stumble slightly forward into your path of escape. He throws his arms around you both. Come on, guys, we're in this together. While in the kitchen, the ice fades. The presence slackens to the point where you can clearly hear the pastor. It's not a distraction to you reading the Latin over and over and over again. It's not a distraction to the sound of clanging metal from your bathroom and various other sounds of things being accosted. The presence in the kitchen, the lights fading back to their normal illumination, the cold dissipating. And you realize there's a very good chance that you have managed in no time flat to complete and finish, if not setting it free, at least kicking it out of your domicile.
She will breathe a sigh of relief. Which maybe is about the time she hears the giant crash of them destroying her bathroom.
Yes, you don't have much, but you have this. This is your place. This is your home. This is your haven. This is where you are safe from the pressures of the world and your own mind.
This is why we don't invite other vampires home, Haley. This is why. Write that down. And I guess she will stomp that way.
There he is, in all of his 7'3" of glory. His arm wrapped around Anaya, her gaze beginning to glaze over. Both her and Benji scrabbling against the corpse, holding them in place. Haven't quite got complete control or purchase on them, but everywhere where these bodiless dead hands holds and wrestles them leaves a dark burn across the clothing, across the dead flesh. You see its hands leaving scarred and burned marks in its wake as he's, calm down, guys, we're in this together.
Gary, I'll have to revoke your membership to our little club. You are misbehaving.
Hey, man, don't be like that. We're just roughhousing. It'll be fine. Give me a second. Let me finish talking to these guys. It'll be great. Watch. Just a few more minutes.
No, you have to go. You have to go now. You've broken my bathroom.
Oh no, man, I didn't do that. That was these two. I'm citizens of rest for them. Would you both be so kind as to go ahead and roll your resolve plus unspent willpower? Unless, of course, you have blood sorcery, at which point you roll your resolve plus blood sorcery.
Total wash. I got one of the bots to work.
You did. Anaya.
Naya, take my willpower.
Well, if I'm using unspent willpower, I can't willpower the roll, right?
No, you cannot.
Well, then yeah, that's a 2.
Alright, let's see. That's a total of -1, giving him 4. Let's see how effective good old Gary is at crawling around inside your soul. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. The more the merrier, right?
You know, I ain't gonna lie, when this all started, I was considering letting him just in willingly. Be like, hey, let's just smoke together, my guy. That was before he started getting monstrous.
The struggling and scrabbling of you both, combined with Haley's literal admonition against them. There's still enough of Gary inside this dead thing. There's still enough of Gary in this wraith growing from this, everything that's happening, to fear actually being permanently banished. After all, this is his peer group. This is his social group. This is everything to him. And in that shameful moment, there's enough of Gary and your resistance to keep it from fully possessing you, from crawling around the deeper, darker aspects of your being. And instead of it being nearly 7 feet 4 inches, it's only 6'11". Portion of it greatly deflated. Being released, being forced away, being given the freedom that it had sought before it was trapped and dragged here, has a deleterious effect on its negative emotions. It becomes more of what it had been in life, which was a predator. And it's only as Gary seems smaller that you realize that the presence of cold is all about the restroom. That Gary is shrinking from your rebuke, from their struggling, and from the specter floating and hanging on its shoulders, draining Gary. Much as you would a victim, much as you would any of the kind about you. And the shame that Gary has for being potentially banished is clear and obvious. And he shrinks, and he grows smaller in the offing. And the question is, what do you all do? Do you continue trying to escape and run, or do you, hang out with Gary?
Question. Where's the Potemkin?
Therein lies the problem. It is, in fact, inside Gary. It is the animating center of all of that puffery. It is what's supplying a portion of what's happening. All of that vampiric essence being given a second purchase or a second chance at life.
And we are free now.
Struggling, yes.
Can I grab the Potemkin?
Ooh. Excellent. We're going to give that a quick roll. What are you doing, Anaya? What are you doing, Haley? Are you continuing to rebuke and attempt to escape?
Yep, I'm getting out of there.
What would the roll be?
Strength and brawl.
Ah.
Haley will reach into herself and activate her awe and say, what is the first rule? This Haley's house, Haley's rules. You are in violation. I have asked you to leave. Don't make me ask you again.
And
Just go.
And as you're holding its attention, as it glances towards you, enough of Gary bleeding through. It shouldn't be possible. But you've all done the impossible several times this evening. And Benji summons some mysterious strength from God knows where and places his hand through the ectoplasmic materialization of Gary's corpse. You watch as the stomach splits around his fist as he drives it in and through the back. Snatching back, pulling with it just gunk and goo that has no relevance to any physical body part. Yet there is now a gaping wound in the spectral corpse that is Gary. And now you made it to the door and you're next to Haley, and you've never seen anything like this before. You didn't think that Benji had it in him, but that was one of the most bloodthirsty things you've seen since Indiana Jones, except for he came back with the lack of a heart.
Really? Really? I came here to save you, and that's the thing you grab?
You might have a problem, mate.
I never said I didn't. I mean, he's just going to try and run.
He's not gonna try to grab the Potemkin again?
Yeah.
Give it a roll as you and the spectral entity from the kitchen continue feeding on Gary.
Can I rouse the blood for this?
Yes.
Okay.
Gary's staggering under the weight. Gary's pushing towards, trying to potentially drop to his knee and beg.
Okay, hunger goes up.
Hey, man! Look, it's not what it looks like. These guys, it's just hang on, let's rethink this, maybe. Come on, I'm not the one who's, I'm not the one who broke the plates in the kitchen last week. Don't do this.
2 successes.
We need a bit of a cooling off period. Perhaps you can come back later, perhaps not, but for now you need to go. The likelihood of your return is going to be determined by how many more times I have to ask you to leave.
Death is a normal thing for Kindred. It is a ever-present companion in their travails through life. It is one of the many constants that they deal with, that and the change of the world around them. As Haley's words hit their mark, and as the Potemkin comes free, as if it is in fact a human heart pulled from a living person, pumping and spewing itself all over, And as the specter from the kitchen has their way with Gary, unlike a major Hollywood blockbuster, it does not end. It doesn't end with a bang. There's no debris flying everywhere. There's no kinetic force rocketing out and towards you all and bowling you over. There's a whimper. A moment just as the specter from the kitchen sinks into the floor, dissipating the cold around you, and Patinkin sits in Benji's hand, spewing smoke and spume, which looks all too blood-like. Gary is Gary for a split second, just a fraction of a moment, and all of the sad, depressing, deplorable aspects of Gary sit there bare on your bathroom floor, dying for the second time in the night. Luckily, spirits don't leave behind much in the way of cleanup. Luckily, there doesn't need to be a dismemberment. Unluckily, it leaves you with an image you will not forget. A chest cracked, emaciated Gary asking no, please. And while the shower curtain is in the bathtub and the shower rod has been knocked off and the bottles of shampoo and conditioner from various hotels and motels, various lotions and what have you have been spread all over the place, the ever-present container of Axe knocked into the sink, we're still rattling around as it rolls back and forth. You all are left completely and securely alone.
Vampire ghost? Question mark?
I just want this not to be over.
He's gonna stuff the Potemkin in his pocket and lay down in the tub.
I think you need to get rid of that fucking thing.
Now that just doesn't make any sense. Why would she have to get rid of it? It's power incarnate, and it's all yours. You don't have to share it with anyone anymore.
It's the only thing that's made me feel alive in so many years.
You need to find something else. It's killed Gary twice. It's wrecked my entire flat.
No, I think the other ghost killed Gary, didn't it?
Regardless of the semantics, I don't bloody want it in here.
Fine, I'll leave. Still need to go to find, what was it, Trevor? No, it wasn't Trevor, it was, fuck, what was his name? Todd, I need to go find Todd. It was Gary's last wish, well, before he came back. Wait, do I have to do a last wish, even the ghost as well? I'm not gonna think about that right now.
You don't have to do anything. What are you going to do? Be more cursed?
Well, I mean, her car needs to be fixed, doesn't it?
That has nothing to do with Gary.
When he asked for me to go find Todd to fix it. That was probably the last thing he asked me to do before he spewed his guts out.
And why did he spew his guts out?
Fuck if I know, Magic Man.
He wasn't strong enough. He couldn't handle the awesomeness. He was weak. But you're not. You're not weak at all.
I'm gonna go find Todd. I was just gonna stand up and just stumble towards the door.
Reaching the door, drawing things to a close, there's still several decisions as to what, if anything, will happen to this small triptych of a coterie over the course of the next few hours. While it is true that he who stares into the void must have care lest the void stare back into him, you've all not only stared into the void, you took it shopping for new clothes. Your awareness as to the world around you has grown exponentially in a matter of a few hours. And somewhere out there in the dark is not only a greater determined force causing these things to happen in various places across the city that is known as Gary. There's also a party you guys should probably get to. After all, what makes a party is forgetting our cares and our considerations at least for a few small hours. And with those thoughts resting and weighing over our heads, I'd like to say thank you all for a lovely session. And I'll see you guys next time. Good night, everybody.
Night all.